Hello scholars, you're welcome to class, my dear scholars. In my previous class, I taught you the topic illiteracy and you learned a lot about illiteracy. In this lesson, you will be learning about right attitude to work. And by the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain the meaning of right attitude to work, state the attributes of right attitude to work, rewards like importance and consequences of not having a right attitude to work. Now we'll begin by looking at what right attitude to work is. Now, what is attitude? Our attitude simply refers to our feelings, our values, our beliefs and disposition towards something, alright, or somebody. Now, what do we mean by right attitude to work? Right attitude to work simply refers to having the right feelings, values, beliefs and dispositions towards the work one is engaged in, whether the work belongs to you or not. Alright, it is also the acceptable way a worker is expected to carry out his or her duty. So the acceptable way a worker is expected to carry out his or her duty means right attitude to work. Now let's look at the attributes of right attitude to work. We have honesty. Honesty simply means being truthful or straightforward. A worker who has a right attitude to work will always be straightforward and truthful in his or her place of work. Alright, we have another attribute which is regularity. This means going to work on every working day and closing at the official hour. So a worker who has a right attitude to work will always be regular to his or her place of work. Alright, we have another attribute which is transparency. Simply means to be open-minded and not to have any hidden agenda. The worker who has the right attitude to work will always be open-minded and will not involve in any form of corruption. Alright, another one is commitment. This is the quality of giving your work all the attention it requires, and it also shows a sense of loyalty to your employer or to your work. Alright, then also we have another one which is diligence. To be diligent means to be hardworking and putting in more effort into whatever one is doing. That is diligence. So a worker who has a right attitude to work will always show diligence. Alright, we have punctuality. This has to do with reporting to work early or on time. It also means attending to duties on time. A worker who has the right attitude to work will always go to work on time and attend to his or her duties at the appropriate time. Alright. Then we have consistency. This means to behave in a manner or way always. That is, a worker who has the right attitude to work will always be consistent in whatever he or she is doing. Alright, we also have another one which is integrity. Integrity simply means the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. Now, a worker who has the right attitude to work will always stand by what he or she believes is right and will always do the right thing. Now, my dear students, we want to look at the rewards or importance of having a right attitude to work. There are a lot of benefits in having a right attitude to work, both to the individual and the organization as a whole. Now let's look at some of these importance or rewards of having a right attitude to work. We have progress. Alright, when there's a right attitude to work, the work and its products, the employer and the employees will experience advancement towards a better condition of the people. Alright? Having a right attitude to work leads to higher productivity. It increases the rate at which the organization produces goods and services. Alright, and the productivity of the individual will also be increased. Okay, then we also have another importance or reward, which is efficiency. That is being able to do your job well. Right attitude to work makes the workers to be competent at their work, and they will also be able to perform their duties without wasting time. Alright, we also have recognition. A worker who has a right attitude to work will be recognized, will be given recommendation and recognition in forms of award, increment of salaries, and so on, promotion in his or her place of work. Alright, it will also bring about improved national image, especially a country like Nigeria, who already has a battered image. Right attitude to work will help to boost the image of our country. Alright, then also it leads to, alright, now let's look at some negative attitudes that workers can show in their workplace that will not augur well for the growth of the individual and even of the organization. Then we have sleeping on duty. A worker who consistently sleeps instead of doing his or her work will not be productive and will also make the organization not to be productive. So it is a wrong attitude. Alright, another one is gossiping. The time that a worker is supposed to be using to do his or her work, he or she is engaged in discussing other people. It is a wrong attitude to work. Alright, we also have lateness to duty. Going late to your place of work and not attending to your work at the appropriate time is lateness to duty, and it makes a worker to be unproductive in his or her place of work. Then we also have another one, which is laziness. Not wanting to do anything, just wanting to be relaxed. It can have a negative effect on the productivity of an organization. Alright, now let's look at the consequences of not having a right attitude to work. So what are the consequences of this negative attitude that people show in their place of work? Now the consequences of not having a right attitude to work abound, but we're going to be looking at some of them today. First of all, it can lead to a low productivity. Not having a right attitude to work will reduce the productivity of the individual and the organization, to make the rate at which goods are produced and the rate at which services are produced to be very, very low. Services are rendered to be very low. It can also lead to national disaster. When workers do not show a positive attitude to their work, it can lead to national disasters which can occur whether in the sea, on the road, or in the air, like a plane crash. Alright, as you can see in the video. Then we have lack of motivation. A worker who does not show a positive attitude to work will not be motivated by his or her employer, and such a worker will not be able to do well in his or her organization. Alright, it leads to inefficiency, that is the inability to do one's job well. Not having a right attitude to work will make a worker not to be competent in doing his or her work. Such a worker will waste the resources of the organization and also waste his or her time. Alright, it can bring about a low standard of living, because when a worker does not show a right attitude to work, such a worker will not be motivated, and so it will affect the standard of living of such a worker. Alright, such a worker will not live well. Then it can lead to indiscipline, not doing things, not obeying the rules and regulations of the organization, and not being able to control his or her actions. So wrong attitude to work brings about indiscipline to the individual and the organization. Then it brings bad image. It gives an individual, the organization, and even the society or the country a bad image. Like Nigeria, a good example is Nigeria. Alright, it also brings about the inability to achieve organizational goals and objectives. Now, an organization where the workers do not have a right attitude to work will not be able to achieve the goals and objectives for which it was set up. And lastly, it makes the business enterprise to be unrewarding. Alright, the business will not be profitable when the workers do not show a right attitude to work. Alright, so these are some of the negative attitudes. Now, from today's lesson, we saw that right attitude to work simply means or simply refers to the positive feeling one shows while working. Alright, now we looked at the attributes and the rewards and consequences. So this is about all I can take in this lesson. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in my next class. Bye for now. Thank you.